What's up, everybody? Happy Friday morning, at least here on the West Coast. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Hot Mic. I am John Rocha, joined as always by the Sneider himself, coming to us from the East Coast. Jeff Sneider, how are you, Jeff?
Hello, Johnny boy! Happy Friday, baby.
Happy Friday. Look at your shirt. What's going on there? What's the deal? You went off to an interview? What's the you got to talk to somebody important? What's the deal?
No, my brother wanted to see what I look like dressed up on the podcast because he says I just throw on schmata t-shirts and stuff my face every episode. So I'm proving him wrong today.
Wow. Schmata t-shirts. I haven't had a reference like that in a while. That's it. You look great. You look fantastic. You look rested, ready. You look red and nice and tan. Look at you. You're looking good. Is that a movie poster behind you? What's that on the right over there to your right? What is that?
Big Patriots Day standee with my quote at the top, or number 2? Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
My dad went to the theater in Boston and negotiated its removal.
Get out of here. That's amazing.
It goes to the ceiling.
It's good for a father to love his son, man. That's a good thing. Well, we are here to talk about so much going on in the world of entertainment, Jeff. Certainly a lot of DC news, Marvel news, Star Wars news, other movie news as well that we're going to talk about. Trailers, a 28 years later review. I have not got a chance to see it yet. I know you have, so you'll have some thoughts on it. And certainly the reviews from other notable critics have been interesting to look at. And so we're going to get into all of that. But just a reminder, of course, Streamlabs and Superchats are open. Send in your love, send in your support for us here on the show as we go along. We got so much to cover, Jeff. We just need to jump right into it. Are you ready?
Let's dance.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Well, of course, we got to lead the show with this, which is the title of this show. And that is, of course, The Batman Part 2. Matt Reeves, according to a number of sources, is finally turning in his script for The Batman Part 2 on Monday. Matt Belloni reporting this on Puck News. Insiders say the script was originally expected more than a year ago, which makes the delay, quote, even more frustrating, given that it's now been 3 years. And it's supposedly going to hit theaters October 1st, 2027 at this point. But Belloni also said in this article, and this is really interesting considering the amount of crap we've been getting about our James Gunn opinions, that behind the scenes, patience was wearing thin. There's been chatter that DC was weighing its options, including replacing Reeves. But the truth is, Reeves works at his own pace. And look, James Gunn defended this pace that Reeves is working out, telling people to get off Matt Reeves' nuts. But clearly, if DC was losing patience, the people who need to get off Matt Reeves' nuts is DC. And who's in charge of DC? But anyway, your thoughts, Jeff, on the Batman Part 2 script coming Monday. Do you believe it? And what do you think about this news from Matt Belloni?
I mean, I believe it.
Okay.
I believed it when it was supposed to come in over Memorial Day weekend. I believe it's due any day now because it's been years. Normally a 3-year break isn't the end of the world. But by the time this hits, it's going to be what, 5.5 years or something like that.
Yeah.
You
mean by the time the film comes out is what you mean?
Yeah. Well, that's no one cares when the script comes in. They care when they can see the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Listen. Again, this PR tour, abysmal.
You're talking about James Gunn's PR tour.
Yeah, who else's PR tour would I be talking about?
I want to make sure we clarify it on the record.
I like the every time he responds to somebody on Threads or Blue Sky or whatever social media hub he's hiding out on, since God knows he's not on Twitter. It goes, there are only 5 people who know anything about specifics of the Batman 2 script. So any story or character leaks you've ever heard are false or a lucky guess.
Right.
But James, I thought you haven't read the script. So how do you know what's in the script?
And how do you know how many people have access to the script? I mean, again, these are the things that are frustrating. Now, people think we have a personal gripe. We do not have a personal gripe, but we are going to call out things. When someone
changes everything he said. One on Friday, it's one thing. On Monday, it's the next thing. Sergeant Rock, right? It was about weather. It's about scheduling, and we need summer, and we can't have the cameras getting cold.
But no, it's creative.
And now it's actually the creative reasons. I mean, just like That's what happens when you spew so much bullshit. You forget all the bullshit that you put out there, and so when you actually tell the truth, it's like, oh, you don't know if you're contradicting yourself.
But what is the truth? That's the thing that's frustrating, is that for us watching this stuff, We don't know what the truth is, or I mean, obviously, Jeff.
I'm not even interested in knowing at this point. Who gives a shit? Let's fucking just put out some movies and shut the fuck up.
I mean, I'll accept that last part for sure. But like, this is the thing that is frustrating with the situation here. Now there's this thing. I thought, and I tweeted this out yesterday. I think it's a bit sanctimonious for Gunn to be like, people need to get off Matt Reeves' nuts, as if he's somehow protecting the filmmaker. He is part of the DC establishment, the brass, the WB brass, that is in charge of this project. And if multiple insiders, including Matt Belloni, who's very well respected in Hollywood, so much so that he got himself a cameo in the studio, is telling you that there were frustration behind the scenes, that means it's not that fans are the ones on Matt Reeves' nuts. It's actually WB and DC who are also on Matt Reeves' nuts. So you all can say like, well, we should leave Matt Reeves alone. Absolutely. No one's mad at Matt Reeves, at least fandom wise. I don't think anyone's mad at Matt Reeves. It's more the DC things. What we're frustrated about is we keep getting a bunch of different stories and none of it feels like the truth, as you just alluded to, Jeff.
I mean, why announce a release date? I love how James is big on like, we're not going to green light movies without scripts being ready, but we will assign completely arbitrary release dates before we know whether our directors are available to direct them.
Right. Even though we said we're not going to do these movies without finished scripts and unfinished scripts and release dates.
Well, dating a movie is different than putting a movie into production.
Right. And Sergeant Rock wasn't creatively where it needed to be. So that means the script wasn't 100% ready. And
just like Mike Flanagan's amazing, incredible masterpiece of a Clayface script was also not creatively where he wanted to be, which is why you hired Hossein Amini to rewrite it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Every word out of his mouth is just like contradictory. I'm just,
that's the frustrating part. It's not personal. People keep claiming it's personal. It's not personal. It's frustrating that he is giving you multiple answers and being elusive about everything when he could just not say anything about it.
He can't help himself. He can't help himself. He's addicted.
Yeah. Well, Feige doesn't get into these troubles because people are like, why don't you go after Marvel like this? Because Feige doesn't do this shit.
He keeps his mouth shut. He doesn't have to be a showman like the way James Gunn apparently has to be.
Yeah.
Because he's on the cover of all the magazines except for People magazine, which has the new sexy Superman. We can't have Superman's coverage without sexy in it.
Yeah. It's kind of funny to watch that. Did you read that article? It is about as soft as a pillow of Charmin. It was such a soft interview with him where nothing was really talked about other than his love of Superman.
And don't worry, my favorite thing, my masterpiece, I haven't announced. No one's written what that is going to be. You know?
Yeah, let's talk about that. That's another part of this thing. Let's bring up
they're always the hidden masterpiece.
His latest comments here. He was talking to EW because there's more to this EW article that was released. He said, my favorite thing has not been announced at all. There was one thing that I knew about from the very beginning that when I pitched to David Zaslav with the DCU would be, I pitched it to him, but we did not announce in that first meeting because I felt like it was too easy to rip off by another company. And so that's one of the main things. And then he also said that he'll probably direct one of the new mystery projects that he's writing. Are you running the studio or are you directing all the time? Well, I always leave saying I'm going to direct something until I'm actually done with the screenplay. And then he went on to say this, Jeff, which I thought was interesting. He told one person who came in and pitched something that was an Elseworlds tale. He says it was a very, very, very famous movie actor. I said, it depends on how the screenplay comes out. If it's a masterpiece, I'll make it, but it has to be a masterpiece. And he is like, I don't know, it's a masterpiece. And he got all funny. He's still working on it. He's still trying to do it. We'll see. Masterpiece might be pushing it, but it's got to be really great. So there is a lot of aggrandizement in these comments, right, Jeff? I don't think we're being off base on this. Your thoughts?
We only make masterpieces at DC. We haven't released a movie yet, but trust me, we only make masterpieces here. Dude, this guy's ego knows no bounds.
Yeah, and I get it. Look, some people come after us for our ego. Then I get it.
I don't care.
It takes ego to accomplish things in life. Of course it does.
My ego is bigger than James Gunn's. So what?
Right, there you go.
I don't care. He still has a massive ego. It takes one to recognize one.
That's fair. I do not have a massive ego. I have a massive belief, but not a massive ego overall, I don't think, or else I think I'd be much more successful than I am now if I really had a love of myself and talking about myself and promoting all my shit all the time. I would have a bigger ego or success, I think, overall. So when you look at this stuff, though, I mean, everything is this mystery project and this very, very, very famous actor. Like, it's to make him seem super important. And I just don't understand the need to do that because you already are super important. So I just kind of find that to be fascinating when you look at this stuff and where it's all going. And this idea that he wants to direct.
Let me ask you about all of these interviews. Has anything that he has said or anything that you've read made you 1% more excited for the Superman movie?
No, absolutely zero.
And what is the point of publicity if not that? To get out there and sell tickets. Instead, he's selling us on a universe that I have no interest in seeing yet. Let's see Superman, and then we'll see if I'm interested in your fucking universe.
Yeah, this seems like a lot of noise for a film that's about to come out. And I'll tell you this, and some of you, okay, I can see it already. Somebody's going to get upset. But this is the thing. This is the thing with James Gunn. And I think this is interesting when you look at this. I think they sense they're in trouble with this movie because all of this stuff to come out about, I've got a secret project and I only care that it makes its money back. And, we've got this very famous, very, very, very famous movie actor who pitched something to us. We only want masterpieces. Clayface is totally going to happen. Sergeant Rock just needs a little more creative oomph. Like, it's all this other stuff that is putting out there to kind of be like, yeah, we got all these great plans, because I think they're preparing for the possibility. I'm not saying they think it will, but the possibility that Superman doesn't quite hit the heights that they were hoping to hit. And we should talk about the tracking in a second, but what do you think about that, Jeff? Am I off base maybe looking at that from that analytical point of view?
I just think the reason he's talking to EW and Corn Sweat's talking to People Magazine is because they just carry the message. There's absolutely no real journalistic integrity in either of those publications anymore as far as entertainment coverage goes. Right. So like, it just, they're playing a very careful game of PR, but it's really like a spray and pray. I mean, we can talk about the tracking. The tracking is a joke. Let's talk about that because we've got Eric Garcia. You guys tell me, what do you think? Do you want to make a bet right now? If I say 160 million and Deadline says 90 million, you want to make a bet on who's going to be closer? Because I guarantee it'll be me.
You say 160 million. You think it'll do that well over opening weekend?
I think it'll go even higher than 160. That was the floor that I've heard. I'm just giving myself that out. 160 and the low that they heard was 90. Yeah, let's talk about it. Deadline reported that NRG had the film set to open at 125 to 145, but multiple distributors tell them the result is looking more like 90 to 125, which is about on par with Zack Snyder's Man of Steel. Now, don't get mad. I'm not trying to push the Snyderverse, you crazy people. The issue here is an awareness, though. Moviegoers, it seems many know a new Superman film is coming, but according to their tracking, Superman is scoring a 30 in unaided awareness, which is higher than Top Gun Maverick. However, in terms of the film being a first choice, the title is reportedly currently tracking below Marvel films Captain America Brave New World and Thor Love and Thunder. That is not a positive thing. This is such nonsense, okay? The idea that more people wanted to see Captain America Brave New World than Superman is a lie. Okay, I'm saying what their tracking is telling them. Tracking is notoriously awful. I don't even know why studios... You could gather more information based on the likes and retweets of my Twitter feed than what the information that tracking provides. Tracking is notoriously terrible. It's manipulated all the time, particularly from as far as studios like setting expectations. That 90 to 110 million or whatever the fuck it was in the headline, that was Warner Brothers downplaying things so that when it overperforms, they can be like, look, it beat the tracking. We must have done something right. The trades exist not to tell you the truth. They exist to carry water for the studios. That is why the trades exist. That is who keeps the lights on, not the trades and their reporting and the traffic. It is the studios who buy the ads. So they're going to do what the studios tell them to. Right. And a lot of those writers are making six figures. So they're not going to contradict the studio if they want to keep making their money
and afford their houses and feeding their children and themselves. But you look at this too. But Jordan Rumi said the pre-sales are okay according to him and World of Real. Not terrible, not great. Internally, there's some disappointment, is what he's reporting. Even with Fandango's site crashing the day tickets went live, which sounds better than it actually is. If the numbers stay where they are, it may not even crack $100 million opening weekend. That's what Jordan is saying. So you're saying that, in your opinion, what you're seeing, what you're feeling, what you're vibing, and what you've seen is that it'll probably track at 160 as the floor. You're saying that's the floor, right?
I will throw my phone into the pond in front of my house if this movie doesn't open to $100 million. Okay.
Okay.
It's just such a preposterous thing. The movie is going to perform fine. That's what I've been saying for weeks on this podcast. So don't tell me I'm out to get James Gunn. I tell it to you straight.
Yeah.
This movie's going to open to at least 140, and I think it could do as high as 175.
I think, and I read this in a couple of places, I feel the same way. I think it's all going to depend on the reaction of the critics to the screenings, and then those fans who got into the early screening.
Are you like, it's going to depend on the reaction to the critic screenings. What do you think the reaction is going to be, John?
I think the initial wave is going to be, it's an amazing thing. Like we're seeing with the Jurassic World reactions. Greatest thing ever. What an awesome time. It's all those people who go to the first wave.
Ballerina got good reviews, John. 28 years later got good reviews, John. This movie is going to get amazing reviews. So let's not pretend it's not going to.
I'm not saying it's not going to get amazing reviews for some people. I'm saying the first wave is going to kiss its ass. It's the second wave that we need to pay attention to. And when those scores start to drop, if they drop, then I think that's going to affect movie going, because I think the audience will reflect that as well, and it won't be a word of mouth that's quite as strong. I mean, Thunderbolts got reviewed really well and didn't even break even, for God's sake. So this thing is going to get good reviews from some people for sure. If it gets consistently great reviews across the board through multiple waves of critics, then great. It's going to make a lot of money. There's no question about it. But if the reviews are mixed after the second wave, I think that will affect the box office.
Well, I fundamentally disagree with you on that point, because I don't think critics are going to move the needle one iota. Like I said on last week's show, just like David Poland said, reviews do not sell a single ticket. Not a single one. No one is sitting there being like, I'm not going to see Superman. Oh, I just woke up and read a great review in the newspaper or on some fucking website. Now I'm going to go see it, whereas before I didn't want to. That's an insane thing to think.
I've done that like my entire life. So I don't know what you're talking about. And I don't know what Poland's talking about, because any generalization is always bullshit. So for me, the idea is it's movie dependent.
That's fair.
Tell me some of those independent films didn't live off the fact that there were great reviews for it and people went to go see this film.
Independent films are totally different than blockbusters, but I mean, I get that the generalization is bullshit in the sense that someone somewhere is going to read a review, but like in general, critics don't move the needle at all.
I think they move them.
It's a joke to think that they do.
I think they move them for the smaller movies. I don't think they move them.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the biggest movie that there is.
Well, it's the biggest movie that there is
this summer.
Yeah, it might be it might. I don't know if it's going to be though, for sure. But what about James once again saying this? Speaking of Superman with the trailer shot, what do you think of this thing where he was saying that
it wasn't even the movie? It wasn't even in the movie.
It's not even in the movie. It was a TV commercial, and it wasn't finished visual effects. I think he actually claimed that it got by him. The legendary micromanager that is James Gunn, somehow that shot of him swirling around got by him.
And big moment in the first teaser.
Yeah. That to me tells me that, they are a little afraid, and they're cutting things that are going to possibly overshadow the movie. And if that shot was to overshadow the movie and affect people coming to see it, I think they're a little nervous about it. Even though Eric Garcia,
they should be nervous about it. It's a huge investment with an entire universe riding on its shoulders. Exactly. They should be nervous about it. I'd be nervous if they weren't nervous.
All right. Anything more to say on Superman or James Gunn? We've got some Clayface stuff to talk about with DC if you want to swing into that.
Clayface, this is another one. It's like, God, every little fucking word out of our mouths is so nitpicked to death. I didn't hear a peep when someone got Clayface, who wasn't on the short list, wasn't one of the 4 finalists.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Didn't hear a peep about it.
This is who it is, who is playing Clayface. That's Tom Rhys-Harry's, a Welsh actor. Tom Rhys-Harry, exactly. He's chosen over Jack O'Connell, George Mackay. And this is what's happening here. James Gunn confirmed that the aim is for an R rating, and the budget for Clayface will be a very modest $40 million, and of course, being directed by James Watkins. It's scheduled to hit theaters on September 11th. Jeff, your thoughts on this guy being chosen?
No idea who that guy is. I think he delivered a pizza to me last week.
Stop it.
I'm sure he'll be fine. But yeah, they went with the cheapest option for sure.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. He was definitely cheap, and that is what they wanted here because, when you're doing Clayface, you need every penny of that $40 million up on the screen, paying for the VFX.
Yeah, I liked him in Kandahar. I remember reviewing Kandahar. I liked him in Kandahar. I did not see The Return, the Odyssey film. I did see him in Doctor Who. I liked him in Doctor Who, but I don't know him that well as an actor. So yeah, I'm a little interested to see what he's going to bring. He was in The Gentleman, Guy Ritchie's film. So but not a big part of it, obviously. So you think he was, but he earned the role, but you also think he was chosen because of financial situations. That's what you're saying right now. Am I right on this?
Well, apparently he blew James and Matt Reeves away. They're a team now. Did you know they're showing the solidarity? If you haven't noticed,
I got to ask you about this. He did tweet that out or post that on Threads somewhere and say that him and Matt Reeves made sure to mention Matt Reeves, which I think is interesting. So, what are your thoughts on that? As you were just alluding to,
it's like the most forced, like, buddy, everything's buddy between us in recent weeks, right? I mean, he really has been harping on that on social media, where like everyone thinks, Matt's movie is this or that, or like just get off Matt's nuts. Like he's like defending Matt. You don't hear anything from Matt.
Nope. No, you don't. Really interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Why is it? It's like, okay, this kid blew away like James Gunn and Matt Reeves. Did he blow away the director? Does the director have a say in it? Are these, is James Watkins just a figurehead because James Gunn is going to be the one calling the shots on Clayface? You don't have these questions when it's not a filmmaker as the head of the studio.
I mean, Matt Reeves has been showing up to premieres and red carpets, so he could say something, right? He could speak. It's not like, it's not like he has been shut away and out in some house in the middle of the wilderness for the last few years. He's out and about. So, like, there is a possibility here for him to speak on all of this stuff, and he isn't. And so you have to wonder what it'll, and I agree with you. This idea that he's protecting Matt Reeves is nonsense. Utter nonsense.
Matt Reeves has never retweeted anything James Gunn has said.
True.
I mean, again, and now James is doing everything, like I said last week, everything or Monday, everything is wishy-washy. Everything is, we'll see, never say never. You never know. Anything could happen. They're still not committing to the Pattinson question of it all.
Yes, 100%.
And I'm telling you, it's just like, I don't think Gunn is going to be the bad guy. I don't think he wants to be the bad guy, right?
Right.
Zaslav is going to be the guy because he's got ice water running through his veins.
Oh, yeah. He could care less.
He's going to be the guy who comes in and makes a decision and says, this is your Batman. Come on over here, Robert. Meet James.
Yeah. Right.
Or he's going to say, he's not Batman anymore. That is now a one and done. And we're not doing Batman 2. Pulling the plug on the whole thing.
Right.
That is what I think will happen. I really don't think we're going to have 2 Batmans running around. I feel like the Batman sequel has almost missed its window in some ways.
Yeah.
I think the whole situation is completely preposterous.
When do you, the reports are saying that the film now is going to start, like there have been reports that are saying the film was going to start shooting soon. Obviously Pattinson said at the end
early
of the
next year, right after Dune.
Right. Do you buy that?
No, not really. I mean, when is Dune going? I mean, Denis Villeneuve, as we'll talk about, is taking meetings on Bond.
Yeah.
You think they're going to wait for him to do Dune 3? Well, I mean, what is going on? I have no idea when Batman 2 will ultimately start. I don't really see how it can start. Bellany mentioned the personal issues last night in his newsletter for Matt Reeves. He has the decency as a human being not to divulge more than that. As same with us, but I just don't see how Matt Reeves is ready to direct a movie in January. Yeah,
that's a fair point. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Again, I want to stress this. We are not after Matt Reeves. I think 99% of the fandom does not have an issue with Matt Reeves. If you're following this stuff, you know that there's stuff going on behind the scenes with Matt Reeves. There's no problem with that. And we respect that. Go through your process. I mean, the same thing happened with Zack Snyder when he had a personal issue, obviously, with his daughter and all that. I'm not saying it's the exact same situation. I'm saying things happened personally for Zack Snyder, so he had to kind of navigate that, and there was a lot of grace shown for him to step away and whatever. So in this situation, you see this with Matt Reeves. No one has a problem with Matt Reeves. It's the wishy-washy nature, which the way Gunn and others are handling this, and the fact that they're trying to shame the fandom and claim that the fandom is coming after Matt Reeves, which I think is utter horseshit. It's the actual people in charge who are frustrated with Matt Reeves. It's the people
James trying to have his cake and eat it too. I mean,
it's not the fans, and to try to blame the fans, I think is an asshole move. Because
I just love this rewrite, Rocha, that Matt Reeves is slow. Right?
Yeah.
Like what? Right. When did he develop this well-known reputation?
Do you think he likes hearing that he's slow? I don't think he likes to hear that personally as a creative, And so they must be paying him a lot, man, to not come out and say anything, and because I mean, this is all in the end. I don't know what it's all going to lead to.
And Matt Reeves lined up like 3 new projects this week as a producer.
Yeah.
Again, guys, if you only knew how this town actually worked.
Yeah. If he's so slow and he's so caught up in why is he lining up projects? Like, I mean, that just tells you things that there is stuff going on behind the scenes. Stop getting obsessed whether we're hating on James Gunn. Use your brain. Be analytical. Don't listen to the fawning people.
James Gunn. I care about the movies.
Yes, exactly. Don't listen to the pundits who fall all over everything DC or James Gunn does. Ask yourself, are they invested in people liking DC and James Gunn because they have a job that is connected to DC and James Gunn? Ask yourself those questions. Look beyond. Don't just look at us and be like, you guys are haters. Look, use your mind. Be analytical. Look at this stuff. It's out there. You can take a look at it. It's not personal. It's not personal. I just want to stress that. People were going crazy about it, man.
People are crazy. People never cease to amaze me. I mean, even just like the responses to the 28 Years Later review last night, just like, I blocked everyone who said Snyder hated it, banger incoming, must be a masterpiece. You know what? If that's how you feel, why are you following me? Why do you hang on every word I say? Goodbye, block.
This happened to Sean Gardner as well. I saw him tweeting about it. People came after him. And then a person who said he didn't like, a critic who said that as well, said that her family got threatened and her children were threatened in a DM for a review of a horror movie. I wish to God we could dox these people and find out who the hell they are. And I'm not saying addresses or anything, but like
Real ID. Let's institute Real ID on the internet.
Absolutely. Real ID everyone, so we know exactly who the fuck sticks are that are threatening people's lives over a movie, that are attacking people over their opinions and veering into toxicity and threatening language. Have the guts to stand behind your words. Put your face on there. Put your name, your actual name on there. Put everything on there so that people know exactly who the fuck you are. If you got the balls to talk about it or the guts to talk about it, have the guts and the balls to stand behind it. That's the frustrating part.
People have no guts. They have no balls.
Yeah, they don't. They're scared. Just like Shelf Presence, right? Is shaking his head because he doesn't want to put his name out there. He wants to be able to say whatever he wants to do in anonymity, which I think is such horseshit. Anyway, all right, let's move on to another story here, James. Sorry, Jeff. Unless you want to say anything more about the James Gunn.
We're all named James or Jimmy to you now, huh?
That's true. So,
dude, I mean,
I'm so obsessed.
I really want to talk about 28 Years Later, but I would have to be able to go into spoilers. Not that this is a movie that can be spoiled. It's just
okay.
We knew Jack O'Connell was in the movie. Everyone was on my ass for spoiling this cameo. Casting was announced. Wasn't a secret cameo.
That's true. It wasn't.
He's the star of the second movie.
Okay.
Again, this is another example of like let's try to create a universe and make a movie with a universe in mind without keeping in mind that we're just trying to make a good movie first and foremost.
Right. Do you want to do your review now? Well, we can do your review now. Let's do it. 28 years later, go ahead. What are your thoughts?
So you haven't seen it?
I have not seen it. I'm seeing it today. I don't care about it. I'm not as obsessed about the 28 years later, whatever. Like, I'm just gonna go see it and have fun with it if it's good. So, and if it's not,
I loved the first movie, 28 Days Later. I think it's a great movie that reinvented the zombie genre, if you will. The follow up was okay. 28 Weeks Later, from Fresnadillo. This was just. There is one really cool sequence in this movie.
Okay.
Where Aaron Taylor Johnson and his kid are running from like the alpha zombie down the causeway, which is the strip of land that connects the island to the mainland.
Okay.
I turned to my brother after that and I was like, that was pretty fucking cool. But by the end of this movie, I was just rolling my eyes so hard. My brother and I were like laughing at it. It was ridiculous. I read the review in the Boston Globe today.
Yeah.
And the last 5 minutes of this movie are like an utter joke. It is so tonally ridiculous.
Really?
It clashes with the rest of the movie. You know, I went back to my source who said that it was the best script that they'd read all year, 28 Years Later.
Wow.
Okay. And they said that the sequel, 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, was maybe the worst script they'd read all year. Then they saw the movie and they did not like the movie either. And and I think the sequel, which is dated for January, is going to be atrocious. I mean, if these last 5 minutes of this movie are any indication, first of all, it's a total bait and switch. The marketing on this movie. Aaron Taylor Johnson's in this movie for like 30-40 minutes.
Oh wow. Okay.
I mean, it's a tale of two halves. The first half is with dad. Second half is with mom, Jodie Comer. It's a fucking cancer movie, which is like, wait, why couldn't Jodie Comer have been infected with the rage and like battling that, or maybe she isn't fully turned because of something. Instead, it's a cancer movie.
Okay.
I thought it was ridiculous. It was just like, what does this have to do with zombies?
Wow.
The Ralph Fiennes character, I mean, he was cool, but as we've seen in the trailers, you've seen the Bone Temple, right, John?
Right, yeah.
Does that look like something that a doctor would build? It didn't look grungy enough to me. It looked like a piece of polished production design.
Right, meant to scare.
It looked like something out of a Tim Burton movie. There's no way that this fucking guy, while trying to survive from zombies, has had the time to erect this fucking bone temple. I thought it was just preposterous.
Jenga temple. Apparently, Mr. Yaz's Double Toasted said the ending felt like a scene from Power Rangers. That's what Double Toasted said.
I mean, and maybe that's what it was, because I know there's a Power Ranger thing at the beginning. The kid has like a toy doll. My expectations were pretty high for this movie.
Yeah.
And it was embarrassing. It was another one of those where my brother's just like, what is going on in your industry? Like, what is happening to Hollywood?
Wow.
If you liked this movie, like, you just don't, I don't mean to insult anybody, but like, you don't have a brain in your head. You are suffering from brain rot if you come out of this movie and you're like, yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Good to know. Good to know. I haven't seen it yet. As I said, I'm going to see it later on this afternoon. I'm going to see Elio and that one later on this afternoon. So I am looking forward to it. We'll see if I like it or don't like it, but I have seen people like you, Jeff, people's opinions I respect, split about the movie, but definitely that apparently the last few minutes of the film, as you alluded to, is the big sticking point. Some people like it and think it opens the door to something really interesting and weird about the franchise. A lot of people utterly hate it. So I'm curious to see what my reaction.
Well, I mean, you do get to see the next Bond in it, right?
Possibly.
No, I'm just fucking kidding. There's no fucking way on the planet Earth that Aaron Taylor Johnson is going to be playing 007 James Bond. I don't care how many times everyone, they caught him at some premiere and they're like, "What are you doing next, mate?" He's like, "I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it. It must be James Bond then."
It would be an honor. It would be an
It's
honor.
not fucking James Bond. He's not talking about it because there's nothing to talk about. What the fuck? You must be insane to think that this guy's going to play James Bond. No way.
Is it because of the reaction to the film or because of what you were saying? The fact that if this film doesn't do so well, it's already getting some negative reviews, coupled with his most recent effort with Craven. That's not what you want to have behind your movie, is what you're saying, basically. Yes.
This dude picks terrible movies.
Him and Chris Evans.
Him and Chris Evans should be in a movie together.
No, because it won't do well. Speaking of James Bond,
I like Sinners 2 shelf presence. I like Sinners 2. I just didn't think it was a masterpiece. There's a difference.
Yeah. Shelf loves to be a hater.
Dude,
but
Sinners made this movie look. I mean, or this movie made Sinners look like a masterpiece.
Oh, damn. All right. Well, you mentioned James Bond. Let's move on to that. This is the deal here. Look at this. Matt Belloni reporting that there are 5 directors on the short list for James Bond. David Heyman and Amy Pascal have officially taken over the reins. And here are the names that Belloni says.
Belloni. I can't listen to this butchering any longer. It's Matt Belloni. Belloni.
Belloni. I apologize. Jesus. Edward Berger has apparently already taken his shots at pitching. Denis Villeneuve is said to be preparing his own take, which Jeff alluded to, but also Edgar Wright, Jonathan Nolan, and Paul King, of all people, of Wonka and Paddington fame, is apparently making a pitch. But we've also heard Steve McQueen in the air as well, Jeff, as a possibility for directing this. And it seems like Alfonso Cuarón has dropped out of this whole situation. So you hear these names. The big one for me is Villeneuve, even though Berger is coming off Conclave and All Quiet on the Western Front being Oscar faves. But what are your thoughts on this list and who is standing out to you?
It's not going to be Denis Villeneuve. You can take him off the list right now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's not going to be him.
Because he's not going to go from one franchise to another.
Because he's busy with Dune, right? And if you looked at the timeline that Matt Belloni so helpfully laid out for us,
that's true.
It was we're going to hire a director, then we're going to hire a writer, then we're going to hire Bond. And so if you can't, what is the point of hiring Denis so that he can go off and direct a massive movie? Right?
Right. You'd wait around for him, right?
You would think that when you hire someone this summer, then that's when the person's going to get started on the movie.
Yeah, good point. He's got Dune Messiah to still finish. They just had casting of the twins this week. But he has said he's going to walk away from Dune after Messiah. So
do you think that's what he wants to walk right into?
That's what I'm wondering. Do you want to go from one franchise?
Take him right off the list. Take him right off the list. You probably have to take a meeting, right? That's what people do in this town is they take meetings. And that's sort of like what has clouded the waters on so much of this stuff. Steve McQueen.
Yeah.
Steve McQueen probably took a meeting. Mm-hmm. A meeting does not make you the guy. It does. It's just your name's just on a list of directors we're supposed to meet with.
Yeah.
Here's what I would say. Before this hit last night, because I've been sniffing around the Bond stuff for a while. Before this hit, I'd already put out one of these 5 names, which I'll circle back to in a second. Mm-hmm. Before this hit, I would have said maybe Paul King because of the relationship with Heyman, right? Because that's what this is about. It's about relationships. So if it's not going to be Cuarón, Paul King was the next best because he has the Heyman relationship. And the other one, who has a great relationship with Amy Pascal? I'll tell you. And who has Amazon's biggest movie? right now. Not in development, but their biggest movie. The answer to that question is Lord and Miller.
Ooh.
Lord and Miller has the relationship with Amy Pascal. Lord and Miller has Project Hail Mary with Ryan Gosling, which was the best thing that anybody saw at CinemaCon, and is coming out next year, and that could end up being a Best Picture contender. So if you had asked me this 48 hours ago, I would have said Paul King or Lord and Miller.
Wow.
Now that this list has hit, someone told me that the most likely candidates on this list are Berger and Nolan. And Nolan was someone who I put out months and months ago when this whole thing first started.
Yeah.
Okay, because Nolan has the relationship with Amazon because of Fallout.
Right.
Okay.
Jonathan Nolan, just to clarify for people, not
Jonathan Nolan. Yes.
Right.
And so that is who I think that this race is really between. I think this is
Berger.
And I was told that Berger, what he has going for him is that he's not a writer.
Oh,
that is the plus that he has next to his name.
Interesting.
Because when it's a writer director, like things are going to take a little bit longer. I feel like if you have a director and then you're hiring a writer, that writer can go off on his own while you're making the next thing. But I don't think it's going to be Villeneuve. Edgar, we'll see with the Running Man.
But this is it's such an eclectic list of directors, though, Jeff. Right? I mean, Berger,
it's a very British list, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. But
maybe that's why Lord and Miller wasn't on it. I don't know if they're set on hiring someone from Europe, essentially.
Yeah. Why? Wait. I mean, we just had Danny Boyle talk about cultural appropriation with Slumdog Millionaire. So why does it have to be a British person to direct? Why is certain cultural appropriation anger people and other
cultural appropriation? Hiring someone to direct your movie is not cultural appropriation.
Well, I'm just saying what Danny said, right? I'm repeating what Danny said, right? But to me, this idea that you need to hire a British guy to direct James Bond is nonsense. It's utter fucking.
What Danny Boyle said is nonsense. I don't care if it came out of Sir Danny Boyle's mouth. Okay, Danny Boyle, you did nothing wrong directing Slumdog Millionaire. You don't have anything to apologize for. Amy Poehler, you don't have anything to apologize for because you played other races and wore ethnic wigs on SNL. It's okay.
I'm going to disagree with you, but okay. I know your point of view on this.
It's like preposterous. It's called fucking acting. Did you have? It's like we can't do a Pilgrims and Indians sketch for the Thanksgiving episode because we don't have any Native American SNL stars. It's okay. We'll forgive you. It's comedy. That is why you're here, not to tell a fucking accurate portrayal of the first Thanksgiving.
It seems like this is a good time to mention that The Ringer had a pretty good racial draft. I think people should absolutely listen to that episode. I was having a blast with that, the racial characters.
What is a racial draft?
Where they picked the most racist characters in the history of film, which I thought was really funny, some of the choices that popped up. Both racist in portrayal or racist in action. I thought it was pretty funny.
Dude, you know what's funny is the guy who parodies all of that, Danny Goodwin, who does the.
Oh, I don't know who Danny Goodwin is.
What the BS report, like the day after Lincoln gets assassinated. Like, where does this rank for you in the top 5 of assassinations? Is he in the pyramid? Like, that guy is funny. The way that the Ringer has been operating, I mean, they've become a parody of themselves.
Yeah, I got to take a look at that. I didn't know Danny. I don't know who he is, so I'm going to take a look at that. That's
Slumdog Millionaire. Here we have Love. Slumdog Millionaire was a racist portrayal of Indians. You know what else it was? A fucking incredible movie. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. It was a great movie.
I cannot weigh on this because I've never seen it. But
you've never seen Slumdog Millionaire?
I just the trailers never spoke to me. I never really was that interested in seeing it. So I never have
that's
kind of remedy.
That's wild. You should definitely watch that movie. But like that movie doesn't suddenly become better because Mira Nair directed it. Danny Boy, people lost their fucking minds. Yes, is the answer.
Yeah, well, for a number of reasons. Look around the world right now. Of course, people have lost their fucking minds, man. But why does it have to be a Georgia? But what I'm getting to is why does it have to be a British director? Because to me, I don't give a shit.
It doesn't.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
So
this list was just very British, and maybe the Brits have the lock on the first meeting or whatever. But like, I don't know. If you're telling me Amy's sitting down with Lord and Miller and they have an incredible thing, and they're coming off Project Hail Mary, which Amazon thinks is going to be great. Why would they not get a chance to pitch their version? Because they're not, because they were born in the wrong part of the world. It's preposterous.
All right, so you say it's Berger versus Jonathan Nolan. You don't think
that's who I think, and who I think what my sources tell me to think.
Is there any?
I have no mind of my own.
Clearly, is there any other director that you, out of left field, have heard or thought in your mind would be interesting that could enter at the late moment here, show up out of nowhere?
No.
Okay.
I think Lord and Miller was that for me.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, let's move on. But just real quick, we're at 46 minutes into the show. Thank you so much to this almost 700 of you who are watching us live on this Friday morning here on the West Coast. Of course, afternoon there on the East Coast with Jeff. But please remember, Streamlabs and Super Chats are open. Send in your love here. The Streamlabs address is pinned in the chat. Some of you have sent Super Chats already. Want to have a good day, want to have a good start to our Friday, good start to our weekend. Send in your love. Streamlabs and Super Chats will answer your questions at the end of the show. And clearly, there is a lot for us to talk about. And
I still can't get over the person who said Slumdog Millionaire was a racist portrayal of Indians.
Well, there's their point of view. They can have a point of view. Brian, I thought the same thing.
Not all created equal.
I thought the same thing. Kenneth Branagh, James Bond. I'm curious if that could work. Like, I would consider it. He might be a bit too stuffy, a bit older, a bit kind of set in his way, so maybe not a great James Bond, but I'd be curious to see what a Kenneth Branagh.
Why? Why? Because he's British?
No, because I like Kenneth. I've always liked him as a director.
You always liked him as a director? Did you see Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile and The Haunting in Venice? Did you see those movies?
I did, and I like 2 out of 3 of those movies for sure. I also liked his.
I don't know how to help you at this point.
I don't want to be helped by you. And I liked his. I liked his Hamlet. So for me, I'm a big Branagh.
Hamlet 30 years ago, you liked, so he should get the James Bond.
I'm not saying he should. I'm just saying it would be interesting to see what he could do with it as a director, because he doesn't direct that. I mean, Belfast was incredible. That was only 4 years ago, bro, and that got Oscar nominations and Oscar consideration. I even liked All Is True, his Shakespeare film. I liked his Shakespeare film, All Is True. And Cinderella is considered one of the greatest live action adaptations of this entire run of live action adaptations. So you can poo-poo him all you want, but I think he's got a damn good resume as a director, and that has spanned multiple decades. So, so suck a fat one for coming. Not
everyone's cut out to be an executive like Jeff Sneider is. I mean, I would not hire that guy to direct a paper bag.
I would love to see you as executive for a year.
Belfast, 2.5 stars.
2.5 stars? Oh my god.
2.5 stars out of 4.
You're insane. Oh, now you do out of 4.
Now I'm the most consistent person as far as 4 stars.
Let's move on this real quick. Speaking of directors, Jake Schreier is confirmed for X-Men. Apparently, according to Variety, who just kind of tossed it in at the end of their article. Do you buy this, that it's official, that he's doing it, or was this maybe a misprint that the person who wrote the article didn't realize that they're still just in talks? Do you know that he's been locked in for this?
I have no idea. I would assume that after 2 months of talks, or however long it's been, that the deal would have closed by now.
But why wouldn't it be a separate article, like where it's official and blah? Why you just kind of tossed in? All right. So I guess Jake Schreier is directing X-Men, everybody.
Marvel will announce it when Marvel wants to announce it.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's common knowledge.
Okay, so it's common knowledge that he's going to direct it, and that's it. We're just moving on past it. Is that correct?
Yeah, okay. I don't really see what the big deal is. Yeah, like he was reported to be in talks. Like, did we think the talks weren't going to work out? He's like he's a young director. Like, was he going to pass on X-Men? Was he demanding more money for his after making a movie that just lost $100 million?
Well, that's my point. I don't know why you I think they're still thinking about it because the film did lose $100 million.
They're not
I
still
don't know if it's
thinking
a
about
big
it.
deal.
If they were still thinking, what do you mean? What?
Here's what
They
I
didn't
mean.
care. They didn't care that it lost $100 million.
I just don't think that that's a smart move right now to get a director.
I don't think it's a smart move either.
Yeah, who just lost $100 million to be the guy in charge of your X-Men franchise when he couldn't sell the team that you asked him to sell the first time. Somehow he's going to sell this team that you asked him to sell a second time. I'm just concerned about that. I'm not saying it was a poorly directed movie at all.
Not on him to sell these things. It's on Marvel to sell these things. It's on him to make a great movie. And unfortunately, he made an okay one.
Yeah. What about this situation, Jeff? Can you give us an update on this? According to Daniel Rickman, and I know he's not always right, Daniel RPK, but did say the Rey movie is on hold once again as both Sean Levy and James Mangold's Star Wars films are moving forward. First, the project is not canceled, just temporarily on hold. I wonder if someone's masquerading as James Gunn over there. So do you think it is on hold? What do you hear? What do you know? Is this ever going? We don't think it's going to happen, do we? Like neither of us thinks it's going to happen. They're just slow.
What does on hold mean, John? Why don't you define that nebulous term for me?
All right, for me, I think on hold means they're still want to do it, but they're not rushing to do it. So they want to put these other things that they think are much more sure bets to build up goodwill, so that if Rey comes out and there's this anti-woke and female-led film should stop backlash, they override it because they've spent more time building up to that movie and they've had some consistent goodwill built back into the fan base. That's the way I look at on hold in this situation. What do you think?
Lucasfilm doesn't have a script yet, so it's not on hold. It's actively being written.
Okay.
Is your camera all right?
Yeah. What? Am I moving around?
Well, no, you're just a little blurry or pixelated, but I'll go. That may just be my terrible internet here in Boston.
Maybe.
Lucasfilm is waiting on the Rey movie to be delivered.
Do they have an assigned writer? Because I saw some people write up saying that there's never been a new assigned writer after Stephen Knight, but I thought there was I thought there was a writer.
I mean, why isn't it Stephen Knight?
I heard he was moved off of it. Is that wrong?
I mean, they could have another writer I don't know about, but the point is that script has not been finalized. So how can you be? I mean, if it was on hold, they'd say, you know what, stop writing. We're not even going to do it. But they're waiting for it. So
what you hear is that they're waiting for the script.
So it's not on hold. So Daniel's wrong.
It's still in motion,
which is fine. And here's the other thing. As I've said in the past, that movie is not the only one with Rey in it as a lead character.
Oh.
There are multiple projects being developed with Rey as the lead character.
Okay. All right. So strap in. All you Rey fans and anti-Rey fans, I am a Rey fan. Strap in. This is going to be an interesting situation as it goes on, because they did say, right, she is the most valuable cinematic asset that Star Wars has right now. That's was a quote from a few months ago. So, all right, just good to know. Anything else you want to say on Star Wars, or shall we move on?
I think we can move on. Yeah, I don't think there's really anything to report on the Star Wars front.
Let's talk about trailers, man. Let's talk about this one. What did you think of the Bruce Springsteen trailer, Deliver Me From Nowhere, with Jeremy Allen White as Bruce, and Jeremy Strong as John Landau, Paul Walter Hauser in this thing, Stephen Graham, Gabby Hoffman. What are your thoughts, Jeff? Did you like it? Did it capture your interest? Are you excited?
I mean, I think it looks great. But you know, the first half of that trailer is very heavy.
Yes.
And then it breaks out the Tramps Like Us in an awkward cut. Actually, I thought that transition could have been done better as far as the trailer goes. You know, they obviously had to dumb down the title. You know, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, because people need to know that this is a Springsteen movie. They weren't going to go a complete unknown route, right? So that was a little disappointing. I thought that they don't trust the audience to know that this is a Springsteen movie. Listen, I'm a Springsteen guy.
Yep.
I listened to, a bunch of music with Dad recently. I put on a Bruce song. It was the one song my dad was like, "Turn this off. I can't stand this fucking guy."
Wow.
So Bruce
What?
is not for everybody.
Right.
But yeah, he's more for me than Dylan was, and so I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, this is a real like drama. I don't know that this is going to be like a big fun movie like the Queen movie was.
No, if they were profiling Born in the USA, him making that up, I think that's a completely different movie. That's a rock star movie, right? This is a much more like, ground-based A24 type of approach to Bruce Springsteen of this stage in his career. And he's making Nebraska. It's profiling. Nebraska is one of the most stripped down, honest, heartfelt, Dylan-esque type albums that Springsteen never released. And so there's a lot of things he's navigating personally in his life in that album. It's one of my favorites from his. So yeah, if you're going in there thinking this is going to be a rousing, dancing in the dark, born to run type of thing, you're going to be sorely disappointed. And I take your point, Jeff. Yeah, it was very clear that it was a very dark film up until they made that jump at the end because they want people to go, remember, this is Bruce, Born to Run. Even though it's dark here, we're still going to have these moments. And it's not going to be like that at all. I don't think you cast Jeremy Strong and Jeremy Allen White in some rah-rah film about Bruce Springsteen. It's going to be much more, I don't know, just darker.
Introspective. Again, Scott Cooper I like as a director, but I don't love him. I think Scott Cooper is like another one of these kind of 2.5-star director guys who's never quite made a movie that I'm like, this movie's really good. Like, this is a good movie. Like, Crazy Heart was okay. Black Mass is okay. The Christian Bale movie, they're all Christian Bale movies.
Out of the Furnace.
Out of the Furnace is okay, but no, the War one that Timmy was in.
Hostile was fucking excellent. Shut your mouth.
Was okay. All these movies were like one shade below, like, good. What would you say is his best movie?
Probably Hostels. I like Crazy Heart, but I like what he did with Hostels. I really, it's such an interesting Western, and it holds up to multiple rewatches because there's a lot to really pick out and chew on in that movie that I thoroughly enjoyed. And we just saw Black Mass again 6 months ago, and both Lindley and I enjoyed it. And Lindley is lived in Boston for a few years when all this stuff was going on with Whitey Bulger. So like, she gave me some inside information as we're watching the film that was really fascinating. So I like that movie. I like
it too. I like all of these movies that I just mentioned. I just don't think that any of them are like really good. I think they're all like B level. They're not B+ or A- level for me.
Yeah, but you like that Place Beyond the Pines nonsense, and that seems like
Place Beyond the Pines is a A+ masterpiece.
You're insane.
Scott Cooper would have to pray to God to make a movie as good as Place Beyond the Pines.
You're insane. You're so insane. All right. What about this trailer, man? Did you like this one? We got the full official trailer for the Naked Gun. Were you into this one? Did you enjoy this one? What are your thoughts, Jeff? Is it working? Is it not working?
Buckle up, YouTube. Is that really what it said? I think it looks good. I mean, I've heard that I think this movie's going to perform well. I think the audiences are hungry for comedy. I love Liam Neeson cast as, Frank Drebin's son.
Yeah.
I think this property's in good hands with Seth MacFarlane.
What about Pam Anderson? Did you like her being a part of this?
Love that she was game for. Yeah, there's a lot more sexual gags that we saw at CinemaCon. Very much like the first Austin Powers movie, and they're way raunchier than what we saw of her like cleaning the oven. Yeah, they're way raunchier than that. So I think it's gonna be funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it too. I mean, the coffee bit had me cracking up, and especially him. Those of us who are dudes, we know that moment where you will push past 30 people to get to the bathroom first. So I thought that was hilarious. And yeah, I thought there was a lot of funny bits in the movie. I'm glad to hear that you say there's even more that was shown at CinemaCon, because some people were reacting to the trailer saying, man, I think is this all the jokes in the movie? I hope they haven't put all the jokes in the trailer.
That is true. I do hope that they don't, spoil too many gags with the trailer. Like at some point, you just have to trust the audience to show up, and reward those who do, rather than just throw it all in the trailer.
Do you think Priscilla has a cameo? Do you think Priscilla would have a cameo as like maybe Drebin's wife or whatever? As his mom?
Know. I don't care. Do you actually care?
I do. Yeah, I think it would be fun. I loved those movies. I'm older than you. I grew up with those movies. You saw them later in life, so I would love to see them.
I grew up with like 33 and a third, and then that was like my Naked Gun, and then I went back and watched.
That was a third. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. And did you like this? I have nothing to say on this, so go ahead. Any thoughts on the new trailer here? Anything new that maybe changed?
I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I'm nervous about this. Between this and 28 Years Later and Karate Kid, I think it's going to be a rough summer for Sony. I mean, 28 Years Later is probably going to perform pretty well, but yeah. I know what you did last summer, man. I just don't think that these kids have it necessarily in the way that the original cast did. It seems too similar. With them standing on like the twisty windy road. Give me like another scenario or something where these kids did something terrible. I'm nervous about it. I'm nervous, but I will be there day one because I am a diehard.
Of course you are. All right. Well, there's another story here. What about the Dan Trachtenberg situation here with this Predator stuff going on here? Let me read the article. I don't have an image for this one, but apparently he is working on another special project after Killer of Killers, after Badlands is coming out later on this year. He's talking to SFX magazine and said, after Prey came out, I started thinking about sequel stuff. There were ideas that I had. Killers is one, Badlands is two, and the third one is something else. The reason why I felt possessed to make them and sort of why I rushed, I did two at once because I could do and I could multitask with animation, which was eager to get to the third thing. There's a lot of cool ideas out there. None of them are just like, oh, we have to say the next part of the story because it was successful. All of it is like, whoa, no one has done that in sci-fi. No one has done that in Predator. No one's done that with the Creature. All of those ideas are generated from that instinct. So yeah, there is definitely a third thing that I'd love to get to when Badlands is finished. So Jeff, do you know what the third thing is? Have you heard anything about the third thing? And are you excited that Trachtenberg has a third Predator project in motion?
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Okay.
I saw Predator Killer of Killers last week, and even though I hate all movies, guys, I'm sorry to disappoint you. This movie fucking ruled.
Mm-hmm.
Killer of Killers was great.
Yeah.
Totally badass. It subscribed to the less is more theory. Like, it was very thin. There wasn't a ton of dialogue. Right. Let the animation do the work. I thought the animation was gnarly. They didn't shy away from violence. It was 80 minutes, basically. What's not to like?
Yeah.
And Badlands, I think that looks like a lot of fun, too. So, again, the next Alien movie, the follow-up to Alien Romulus, is going to feature a Predator.
Yeah. Oh, yes. That's what you're claiming. Okay.
Right. Yeah. That there's a Predator in that draft. And so, yeah, I wouldn't, maybe Trachtenberg gets to do the full-on AVP movie. I don't know.
Oof. Do you think we'll see Amber Midthunder back? I mean, she was I guess I should, well, fuck it. I mean, if you saw it already. But, like, there is a spoiler with her in Killer of Killers. Do you anticipate that was done because they do want to bring her back in some form down the road with Trachtenberg as directing it, maybe? Because she said recently that she would be 100% up for it.
Sorry, go on. Carry on for a second.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, yeah, Amber Midthunder, I think, would be interesting as well. She said this week when asked about it in an interview. I don't know what's happening. I genuinely don't. I also want to do another one. I would be happy to do another one. I love Dan Trachtenberg with my whole heart. I love that world. I love that character. And I think that there's some fun ideas out there that I've heard that are very cool. So what ideas has she heard that are very cool that she would be a part of? So to me, it just seems like it's maybe lining up for Amber Midthunder to step in and do something, but we will see. All right. Anything you want to say on that? Anything more you want to say on that, Jeff?
No.
Okay. All right. Anything you want to tell us that you're texting anything big there that you're getting?
I can't tell you what I'm texting Kathleen, okay? Just
Kathleen. Relax. Whoa, Kathleen. I didn't know that was in play.
Kathleen.
Okay. All right. I think that's a good situation. All right. Let's see. So I think we're good. Is there anything more you want to talk about? Anything more I left out? I mean, do you want to talk about James Bobin in talks to direct Dragons Lair? You put that in your newsletter this week. Anything exciting about that, or is it just kind of, you think he's going to lock it down there to direct it?
Guys, when things are reported as in talks, you might as well just say they're direct. I mean, yes. I mean, like, very rarely are things reported as in talks that don't work out. When it doesn't work out, it's like more notable.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, in talks is just code for this person's directing.
All right. I want to play you something. I don't know if I can get it on here. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna play you something, Jeff. You and I are Schmoedown people, so I want to play you something before we get to the questions, and I want to get your thoughts on this. Now, can you see that? I think you can. Oh, yeah, I got to take that thing down. Sorry about that. I got to take this down. So let's talk about this, Jeff. Mark Ellis was on the Jenn Sterger show, and we both love Mark. But Mark is talking about the Schmoedown. This is what he said.
Cried after a while at times. It was still so super fun to have done.
Yeah.
And the community that it built is still like, but they're still all like around.
Active,
like everybody
right?
is still around, and they still like, I see people all the time and they tell me how much fun they had watching it. And so it's never something that I'd be like, oh, let's bring it back. Like, let's revive it, because
it was so much work for you guys behind the scenes.
There's a lot of work, but it's also just like, okay, we moved on, and like, I don't really need to retread all that.
People don't realize like how long those shoot days were, because we do like 6 matches a day or something insane like that.
It was a lot, but it's also just a lot like coordinating everything and like,
coordinating everything, managing big personalities.
After a while, you realize like, okay, well, I like working by myself on stage, and I never really knew. I don't want to be a parent ever, and now I'm suddenly the mom of 150 competitors and like crew and all this stuff, and I'm like, that's a big responsibility. For the non-parent to take
there
on.
Were days, Eddie, when like stuff would get so contentious on set, and you could tell Mark had it because he would just take off his headset and be like, I will turn the show around.
So let's talk about that, Jeff. Big personalities. Let me tell you something. Big personalities made the Schmoedown, and big personalities got people to cash checks who made the Schmoedown. So I just want to say that off the bat. But I take Mark's point. It must have been a difficult thing to put together. What are your thoughts on Mark's comments?
Can you imagine having to manage the two of us? What a pain in the ass that would be. I feel for Mark. I have empathy for him and Christian and anyone who had to deal with Jeff Sneider at his most competitive.
Me too. 100%. But I mean, let's not act like Mark Ellis wasn't a big personality, or Jenn Sterger, who we both thoroughly love, was also a big personality in her own way. So if you want greatness, you're going to have big personalities involved in it. So, that's the other side.
Isn't that Hollywood too? It's
exactly. Exactly, for sure. All right, well, let's move on to these questions, Jeff. And like I said, Streamlabs Super Chats are open. Send them in as we go along here and see if we can get to 11 a.m. with your questions. Fred Tastic 314, the Jurassic Rebirth tour looks way different than the Superman PR tour. Do you have your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, the dinosaurs are the star there, and the director is the star of the Superman PR tour.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't heard anything from Scarlett, have you? Like, there hasn't been much at all. And this film was like, what, a week and a half from coming out? You haven't heard anything. So, have you seen it yet?
These PR tours mean nothing to me. Like, so-and-so did an interview with EW or People Magazine, or, the 20 Junketeers who showed up to cheer on the movie. Like,
right.
None of this is real coverage. It's all just fucking fairy dust.
All right, fair enough. Googly says, any idea when we will get another Coen Brothers movie? Oof. They're kind of split up right now. I don't mean like the Safdies. I just mean that they're both following their own kind of things here. Do you think we'll get another Coen Brothers movie soon, Jeff?
I mean, once this next one from Ethan bombs, and then Joel make one more, and then, while Joel's making it, Ethan will do another one. I mean, it's just, both of these guys need to fucking bury the hatchet or whatever and get back to work, because these movies that they're making on their own are terrible.
Oof. All right.
I include Macbeth in that.
I liked Macbeth. You're insane. Mike Joyce, I know you hated 20 years later, Jeff. Would you see the sequel if the alpha ripped the kid's head off? That's the only way I'd see it. He sucks. Oh, you didn't like the main kid.
No, I disagree with you, Mike. The kid was good. Alfie was good.
Okay.
I wasn't anticipating. I am sick of that. Like, why does every movie need to have like a little kid in it nowadays?
Yeah, 'cause you gotta
I'm
sell it.
definitely sick of that, and I'm particularly with an R-rated thing. Like, sometimes you have a little kid because you need like a surrogate for the young kids or the teenagers in
Yes.
the audience.
We're watching. Yeah.
This is an R-rated movie, so why do we need that? Why? It's just not who I wanted to see as the lead in the 28 Years Later movie was a kid with a bow and arrow. I know. Let me see here.
What do you know?
So the sequel. So
okay.
Okay. So Samson, who is he's like a big zombie, I guess, who has been wandering around for 3 years, and Ray finds his doctor. It's like aware of him. I don't know why he doesn't just kill Samson when he has the chance. I think it's because he's, in the second movie, he is experimenting on Samson.
Oh, okay.
You're going to see experiments with that character.
Ooh.
I heard that's not particularly well written. So there is, if you see in the trailer, the guy who's hanging upside down with a bag on his head, he has something carved on his chest.
Okay.
And the word is Jimmy. And then you'll also see a shot in the trailer of a barn that has writing on it, and the barn references Jimmy. Ooh. Now,
right.
If you're familiar with this franchise, you know that Cillian Murphy's name is Jim. Right. So I was kind of sitting there thinking, oh, like fucking Cillian Murphy's his character's out there killing zombies, carving his name in them. Right. People look to him because he's one of the OG survivors, and he's like this messianic figure, and they're writing his name on barns. Well, it turns out at the end, Jimmy is Jack O'Connell, and has a bunch of ninjas and tracksuit sidekicks who do flips and stuff like the Power Rangers, and they're all named Jimmy too.
Oh,
if you look on IMDb, Erin Kellyman, there are a couple of like recognizable actors actually. Hold on 1 second.
Okay. Are you spoiling the movie right now?
Dude, this is all there. It's all there on IMDb Pro. There's no fucking spoiler. You can't be spoiled in this movie. Okay. Jack O'Connell, Sir Jimmy Crystal, Robert Rhodes, Jimmy, Erin Kellyman, Jimmy Inc., Connor Newell, Jimmy Sheeta, Sam Locke, Jimmy Fox, Maura Bird, Jimmy Jones. I mean, so it's this gang apparently known as Jimmy. I don't know from where they take their name. Jimmy's also the little boy at the beginning of the trailer.
Yeah.
With the Teletubbies. It's just all this Jimmy talk, and it's like none of this is like properly set up in the movie. It's all just like little breadcrumbs for you to follow to the next movie, even though they didn't even market this movie as the start of a new trilogy.
Yeah.
And the third film is not financed, which I think is pretty notable when Danny Boyle's like, yeah, we sold them this trilogy, but Tom Rothman hasn't given us the money yet for the third movie. Probably because he saw the first one was like, let's see how this thing performs before I give you this money, because this movie was awful.
There you go. All right. Derek Johnson says DCU feels like old DCU, same dysfunction. That photo shoot, wow, he definitely been feeling himself. And hey, if it works, great, take all that credit. But shouldn't we have some photo shoots with the actual stars of the movie? And I think he's referencing Superman. And
were the 40 character posters not enough for you, Derek Johnson?
No, I think he means like, profiles. I think the profiles in the photo shoot, like that people profile was nonsense. And so
let's get a fucking profile on some guy, some mystery figure named Peter Safran.
Oh, that could be fun.
Let's see that profile. Where's that profile?
I want to see that profile. Plethoric says, think Gunn is buttering Reeves up so he agrees to let Pattinson be the DCU's Batman.
So now you're saying James wants Pattinson and that Reeves is the one saying no?
Some people have said that Reeves is apparently trying to stop
James wanted his own Batman.
Yeah. And either way, it doesn't matter, because if Zaslav says, I want that Batman, they're both going to shut up and do it. Like, that's kind of the game, Derek Johnson, there's at least 6 new superheroes and villains in this movie. Where's the photo shoots, news articles about this new universe, right? Because the universe has been around. Apparently, superheroes have been in the world of Superman for 300 years. in this movie. So I take Derek's point. I think it's valid, but I think all that's going to come out after the movie comes out and people have a frame of reference. I think that's what's going to happen.
Gotta let people see the movie.
Yeah. Factual opinion. Hello, boys. Greetings from Philly. Respect. That's where I was born. What's more likely? The Batman will be canon to the DCU or the Batman movie becoming a one-shot Elseworld? Ooh, I think the second one seems more likely. What do you think, Jeff?
I don't care. I just don't care. I think it'll be an Elseworld because I don't think we'll see any more of this.
Okay. Derek Johnson, thank you for the support. Appreciate it, brother. Always good to see you, my friend. Dingus McNally, so stoked for F1 next week. Jeff, have you seen it? Also, Rocha, is it good enough you would see it again in theaters? Yes, for the visuals. I think there are issues with the storylines, with the characters, that I think could have been fleshed out a little bit more, which is why I don't think it's at the level of Top Gun Maverick. But I think the racing stuff is jaw-dropping, fucking jaw-dropping. And I do like Damson Idris, and I do like Brad and Kerry Condon in the movie. Jeff, have you seen it yet?
Nope.
Okay. All right. But yeah, I'm going to go see it on IMAX again for sure. Shelf President, excuse me, Rocha. Read the chat more, bud. Shake my head wasn't for you. Slow down, cowboy. Don't. Oof. All right. Derek Johnson, the end of 28 years later felt like I was watching something Guy Ritchie put together. Ooh. Does that sound like an accurate description, Jeff? Maybe.
I think it'd be generous. It felt like something Uwe Boll would put together.
Oh, no, don't start. Are we doing a rematch? Don't start, man. Don't start. A. Sewell says, did you guys hear the news about Netflix broadcasting the French TV network TF1? Do you think this is something we'll see more of, particularly from the tech streamers that don't have TV networks? Jeff, I think so. Netflix has been expanding their reach and their content and their approaches to content for the last few years. And the idea of opening the door to broadcasting a network, I mean, we're seeing Max do that with the TNT and other stations that they have under their window. Hulu Live has that with regular YouTube TV. So I would not be surprised. Jeff, what are your thoughts on this?
No.
I
don't think that Netflix is a garden, a community garden where everybody gets to come and plant something. I think it's
this is a one-off, you think?
I can see Netflix like having a tile that's the Joe Rogan show, and every time the Joe Rogan show goes live, like you can watch it live on Netflix.
But they do that with WWE now, with Raw. Yeah.
Yeah. Do I think it like TBS is going to have its own window so that anything that TBS airs you can watch via Netflix? No, I don't think that.
Okay. I do see the possibility that it could be global, which is like the prominent German network, the prominent Spanish network from Spain. I could see that as a possibility. So maybe they're just kicking the tires on this TF1 thing once it happens to see what the reaction is, to see if they might open the door to it. But I take your point on the other, like the smaller stuff. Yeah, I don't see that. Scott, Jeff is in Boston and didn't check in with me. You're banned from Massachusetts.
Sorry, Scott.
Wow. Jay Scoots, Martin McDonough for 007. Yay or nay?
Nay. Hard nay.
I have to say nay on that as well. Although I like him as a director.
Who has these ideas?
Well, Jay Scoots did. Fantastic. My out of left field director for Bond is Ryan Johnson. No, they would not. Although he worked well with Daniel Craig, I don't think they would let him direct that. Dingus McNeely.
I really wonder what would happen if we let our audience become studio executives for a day.
I think the same thing that we're seeing now. Anybody who thinks they would do a better job gets into that position and inevitably does not do a better job because there's so much about it. Like people think they can be president, Jeff. Like you have no fucking clue what it's like to be president. They would go, what are you saying? Sorry.
I think our audience would do a worse job than the current executives.
It would have to decide who's in charge, and that would be tough for our audience. Dingus McNally, support for a steamy hot mic. Thank you, Dingus. Derek Johnson also back. He says, is Safran alive? Is he someone who prefers working behind the scenes, or is he playing it smart by letting Gunn take the lead? And if it gets bad, he can distance himself. Jeff?
Yes, he's alive. Is he someone who prefers working behind the scenes? Yes. Is he playing it smart by letting Gunn take the lead? Yes.
I think he has no choice. I think if Safran wanted to start taking the lead and being out there in front of James Gunn, I think Gunn would have an issue with that.
Wouldn't it be great if Amazon hired Matt Reeves to direct James Bond?
Oh. Can you imagine the explosion? The explosion. But I tell you what, the Gunn Bros would claim that Matt Reeves betrayed James Gunn because they're so deep into their cult love of James Gunn, and it rivals this. It's getting to the close to the Sneider Bros, that they would claim Matt Reeves used his personal issues as an excuse to get out of the situation with James Gunn. That's how deep into the cult some of these people are for James Gunn. So it would be an explosion if that happened. But I mean, I would love to see it. I'm Two Fly Cam. Marvel will announce X-Men director after Fantastic Four bombs to run cover and overlook it. Ray movie equals zero interest. Batman 2 script will be on Monday. Yes, that's what we already talked about at the beginning. I'm Two Fly Cam. So you can circle back to that. But X-Men, well, Marvel after Fantastic, you think Fantastic Four is going to bomb? I don't think it's going to bomb. Jeff?
No, I don't think it'll bomb.
Yeah. Shelf Present says, who did the vocals, or did they use Bruce? The rumor is Jeremy Allen White did the vocals. Bruce said he couldn't even tell the difference, which I think is just being nice. What do you think, Jeff?
I have no idea. I have to hear it, more of it.
Yeah. True Boss.
Matt didn't sound like Jeremy Allen White, though.
Yeah. Matt has admitted being a slow writer in court. Guys, cite your sources. Where has he admitted that he is a slow writer? I didn't see anything like that. Did you?
Again, what is the point of this? To now define him as slow? Are we saying that he's like everything is fine in his life and he's just slow and that's why he hasn't turned it in? Because that's wrong.
Yeah. Okay, so
I don't understand. Like the craziest thing, like just the craziest things move our news cycle in the world of entertainment. Do you think that would be a story in my Insider newsletter? No.
Dingus, do you think we are getting a resurgence of big screen comedies with The Naked Gun, Spaceballs 2, Scary Movie 6? Oh, yeah, and Harold and Kumar 4 and Good Fortune. Yeah, Jeff, is the tide turning on comedies? Are they making a comeback, maybe?
I mean, yes, I think that everyone's been saying it long enough. The people do want to get back, but it's like, this is all IP.
Right.
I mean, other than Good Fortune, which I don't think looks very good. I think that is not going to do well.
Okay.
It comes down to stars. Comedy is a star-driven genre.
Yeah.
And if we're not going the Rogan, Jason Segel, James Franco route, we need to create some more stars. Now, some of it is getting guys like Shane Gillis to do feature comedies, right? Like Tires is unwatchable. I love Shane Gillis. That show is abysmal.
Even with Lowell from Wings in there now?
Yes, even with Thomas Hayden Church. I thought it's just not the right vehicle for Shane. But like put him in a big screen comedy, you could be looking at the next Hangover. And so I think that's where they need to start getting some of these big podcasters and stand-up comedians to do acting, to be in movies, because we're running thin. And like, Liam Neeson, like he's what, 65, 70 years old? Like he can't be your new comedy star. Harold and Kumar in their 40s. Scary Movie 6. We're going to bring the Wayans back for that, for Christ's sake. Like, no.
Yeah. Lisa Neeson is 73 years old. John Cho is 53 years old. I don't know.
But like, Wayne's World was a great movie.
Right.
Tommy Boy was a great movie. We need those SNL people to come up with great movies, not the Please Don't Destroy It Treasure Mountain movie on Peacock. That was bad.
That was not good. That was not good. Dakota was right about that movie in that sketch.
I mean, Marcelo Hernandez is starting to pop, but that's that's a Netflix movie, 72 hours. So
right.
Yeah, I hope comedies return to theaters. I think people want to laugh together in big groups.
Yeah, there's no one's going to see a Mikey Day movie or no one's going to see any of these people who've been Lee. Yeah, I mean, like no one's going,
Hollywood did it to themselves, though. It's like they train the audience that comedy is something you can now get on podcasts and
true.
on Netflix or whatever. And so
It's
people
true.
don't show up for theaters anymore. Bros, to me, because there's been some talk recently about like what are the best. IndieWire did a horrific list that should have everyone there shit canned about the 100 best movies from this decade.
Yeah.
An embarrassing list, truly a fireable offense. And I thought about it and I was like, Bros belongs on this list.
Yeah.
Bros is amazing, and no one went to see it because it's about gay guys.
Right. So fucking disappointing, man.
Yeah.
Fucking disappointing. David Ehrlich called 28 Years Later a tender sequel to one of the scariest zombie movies ever.
So tender. The tenderness. I mean, God.
Ehrlich sometimes.
I could not have given less of a shit about Jodie Comer and her fate in this.
Wow. Man, Ehrlich sometimes. I just fucking don't get it.
You wait until you see what happens to Jodie Comer. It is like so insane what happens to her.
I'll text you.
I won't spoil. That I'm not going to spoil.
No. I'll probably do an out-of-theater reaction and review when I get out of the movie tonight. Pretty B cases. When you guys said Gunn keeps lying and contradicting himself, he can't keep his mouth shut. He wants to be on magazine covers and wants media attention. Sounds like someone I know. Who? Oh, yeah, it's the guy in the White House. I mean...
lazy.
I think egos are egos. It's irrelevant of the business they're in. And when you have an ego and you want to be highlighted, and yes, ego comes most of the time from a deep well of insecurity, then you want all this validation. So to make a comparison, I think is fair. To say it's the same thing, I think is way off base.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about movies here. Like, how many times I've been called, oh, look at Sneider. He's like Trump with his opinion. He's just saying, well, if I like this and if you don't like this, then you're a moron. That's just how I talk. Donald Trump did not teach me to talk like this. He did not invent talking like that.
No,
I think it's a pretty lazy comparison. Whenever someone falls back on the Trumpian of it all.
Yeah. And Roy Cohn taught him how to talk like that anyway. It wasn't even him. Francisco Lopez, have you guys watched Duster on Max? I'm really enjoying the series. I thought after Lost, Josh Holloway was going to be a star. Well, I guess I was wrong. Well, I mean, Josh he marches to his own drum. And maybe Josh made enough from the Lost money that he wasn't in a rush to jump in and do a bunch of shows. I haven't seen Duster. Have you seen it yet, Jeff?
I have not. It was something I was looking forward to. And then, the trailer came out and the reviews hit and it didn't really seem like must-see TV. My aunt loves it.
Yeah.
We were talking about it this week at dinner and she's like, have you seen Duster? And none of us had. And then my dad started talking about Dexter because he's deaf and he thought that she said Dexter. He was like, oh, I don't like that serial killer stuff. It's like, it's not about a serial killer. It's like, yeah, there's a divide there.
Dexter. Alan
Dexter.
Hey guys, have either of you seen 3,000 Years of Longing? It's my theory that George Mueller put the themes of that failed movie into Furiosa. Both 3,000 and Furiosa bombed. Will there be more Mad Max movies? I bet he'll get another shot. You don't think he'll get one more shot at the Mad Max universe? Wow.
Nope.
Right.
Nope. 3,000 Years of Longing was awful. Furiosa was really good, I thought. I was a big fan of Furiosa, but yeah, it didn't do well because when people go see a Mad Max movie, shocker, they want to see Mad Max.
Yeah, true. Nathaniel Molnar, could the secrecy behind who's playing Dorothy be because it's the CGI Judy Garland face? Dear God, I hope not. No, I'd be surprised.
I did take that into consideration,
Really?
Nathaniel.
Oof.
I did.
Oof. I would be surprised by that.
I would be. I think that would be bad.
Yeah,
but I actually do think that is a distinct possibility, Nathaniel.
Okay. Ryan Thompson, my prediction is F1 outgrosses Jurassic World. It won't have as big of an opening, but word of mouth will lead it to have great legs through the summer. It's not even going to be in theaters that long, I don't think, to be able to go against Jurassic World, right? Because it's going to be on Apple TV really close.
This is an insane statement, Ryan. What you need to be institutionalized, okay? F1 is going to outgross Jurassic World. In what universe are you living?
No, it won't. It won't. It doesn't have the Top Gun magic. I'm telling you, it does.
It's a good movie. Is our audience operating in?
Well, some of them. Don't blank. Again, generalizations are bullshit, Jeff. Come on. Carlton Rudder, London calling. What's up, Carlton? Good to see you. Just sending love and support. Saw Sing Sing yesterday for the first time. Amazing movie. Stoked for F1 in IMAX Monday. Yeah, man. Sing Sing just kind of not enough people saw that movie. People talk about like what's a movie that is an A+ movie that nobody saw. Sing Sing is one of them, man. Because I thought Coleman Domingo was incredible in that film, and the other actor was nominated. It was intense as well. Jeff, anything?
Sing Sing's great. That's a great movie.
Yep. Was that on the IndieWire list? Wayne Edwards, good morning, fellas. I'm on vacation next week. Oh, enjoy, Wayne. My girlfriend and I are going to New York and Boston. We are going to see the Red Sox at Fenway Park. Are there any other spots to check out in a day in Boston, Jeff?
I'm not really a Boston guy.
He's a Massachusetts guy.
Like the city.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to the Cheers bar, I don't know, the Seaport. You fucking call me, Wayne. I'll show you a good time. Just DM me. We'll meet up for coffee.
Go to the sports museum. I'm telling you, it's an amazing sports museum. I had a great time when I was there in Boston at the sports museum.
What is sports? I don't even know what that is. What is the sports museum?
Oh yeah, there's a sports museum in Boston. Chronicles obviously all the history of Boston sports specifically. It's pretty fucking cool.
See if you can take a tour of the Garden, the Celtics.
Oh yeah,
that whole thing.
If my lady Outlaw was here this morning, I would ask her what she recommends. She'd probably tell you some art museums though. Julian LaBelle, just some support. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Guillaume. Appreciate that. Is it Bellany Baloney? I don't know what it is. Samo, what y'all top 3 Jordan Peele movies? How many? There's only been 3, right? I mean, there hasn't been that many Jordan Peele movies. I think there's only been 3, Jeff. I would say Get Out.
Get Out is clearly number 1, and I think Us is second, followed by Nope.
Okay. I would put Nope above Us, but it's 6 and 1, half a dozen the other. Thank you, Derek. What kind support. Thank you, Derek. Very, very kind of you, brother.
Derek, we don't deserve you. We don't deserve you. You're too good to us.
But we deserve you a lot. But I think we deserve you. But yes, thank you, Derek. Hey, Jay Barrett Bash. Hey, guys, just got back from a trip to Poland, and I'm happy to catch you guys again. What are some of your favorite TV shows of the year thus far? Department Q for me right now is I love. If you haven't seen that on Netflix, we just finished it the other day. I saw the Titan sub disaster documentary, which I thought was really good. Jeff, what are your thoughts? Anything standing out to you? Best TV shows of the year so far for you?
Yeah, I have my list right here. I've seen so much TV this year. Adolescence.
Yes, 100%.
The Pit.
Yes.
The White Lotus. Hacks. Mobland. Reacher Season 3. Your Friends and Neighbors. A little documentary called Celtic City.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And the reality series Beast Games.
Oh, yeah. I know you got a stump for your guy, Mr. Beast. I know. The Studio is excellent. If you guys haven't seen The Studio, I agree with just about everything on Jeff's list. I would add The Studio, and I will throw, and some people might not like this, but I will throw Mid-Century Modern, which I thought was a really fun comedy. The opening pilot, don't judge it. The pilot's a little kind of mixed, but after that, it really finds its feet, and it's a lot of fun. So I would say those are the shows that I would throw in. The most recent season of Dark Winds was excellent. Well, if you guys haven't seen that, and I haven't seen the Pee-wee documentary, but a lot of people seem to enjoy the Pee-wee documentary, and of course Andor, for fuck's sake. Let's see what else we got. Jay Barrett Mash did that. Thank you, Jay Barrett. Time to like any news on Backrooms? Truly creepy material there. Jeff, do you hear anything on Backrooms? Anything?
I mean, other than so that was one where I reported Kristen Milioti was in talks, and I said early talks. When I did the story, it was Chiwetel was in final negotiations.
Yeah,
she's in early talks. Her deal didn't work out. It ended up being Renata Rensby. I think it'll be interesting. I'm curious to see what a 19-year-old director does with an A24 budget. But I'm not really familiar with like the viral short. Like I think I watched it when it was first announced years ago and didn't really impress me. But it I'm a story guy. There was no real story.
Right. Corn Emperor Derek is the guardian angel for Rocha and Harloff. Well, I'd like to think he appreciates our show. Just like you do, Corn. So thank you. And thank you, Derek.
There was
Michelle
another
Pfeiffer.
writer on the Ray thing.
Okay.
It was George Nolfi, right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, it was like a older
So yeah,
writer.
I think it's right. This was the deadline headline: Star Wars Daisy Ridley project still alive, with George Nolfi coming in, and I think they're just waiting on him to deliver.
Yeah. Shelf Preston, thank you for a great show. Love you guys. Have a great weekend. You too, Shelf. Sorry for misunderstanding earlier, brother, but don't call me cowboy. I hate that. Steph DiAgostini, support. Thank you, Steph. Corn Emperor, Derek Johnson, all the flowers. Absolutely. Eric Rivera, John, you yelled at me for critiquing the graphic design of the show a while back. Glad you switched it up. It's looking good. Sending love. Yeah, thank you, Eric. I appreciate it. Definitely the Outlaw Nation is changing as well. In July, we will be changing. So all the recent graphic changes are all part of the overall change of the look of the channel. So thank you for complimenting the gentleman who's doing that. Derek McNally, love for Derek Johnson, or Dingus. Sorry, Dingus. Thank you, Derek, of course, again. And thank you, Derek, for the support. Always good to see you, brother. Let's move on to the Streamlabs, Jeff. And keep sending in your super chats. We have about 20 minutes left here. Jeff, Matt Thomas says, Jeff, we normally don't agree on much, but we agree on 28 years later. Like performance is solid, but the rest of the movie was woof. I am lucky enough that I was able to talk to Stuckman after our screening, and when he was like, I really like that, I was like, oh, so there you go. All right. Calling out Stuckman, Matt. That's a interesting thing to do. Jeff, anything to say on this? No, you good?
On what?
Okay, never mind. It's trying to listen. Hot security guard. Gents, got a raise, so there's something for you too. Thank you. Any of you seen The Materialists yet? I love Celine's song in Past Lives. Was my favorite film that year, but sad to say I didn't like The Materialists. It's also severely mismarketed as a rom-com. It's an urban rom drama. Jeff?
Haven't seen it.
Yeah, neither have I. Not yet. Matt also said, but I'm also lucky that we are able to talk about that dog respectfully. Stuckman is a stand-up guy. Can't wait to see Shelby Oaks in October. Yeah. Jeff, you looking forward to Shelby Oaks from Stuckman?
No.
As a horror guy? Huh?
No. I have nothing against Chris. I just the answer to that question is no.
Sean says, as a longtime listener introduced through a mutual friend Jeff often mentions, I'm thrilled to finally catch a live episode. Keep up the great work, guys. Also, all these glowing reviews for 28 years later when it's half a story. Yikes. Jeff, thoughts on that?
Can't argue with that. But
Okay.
people don't care anymore. People have no respect for writing anymore, John.
Yeah.
People have no respect for screenplays or the craft and art of screenwriting.
Right.
They just like to see cool kill shots.
Matt Thomas says, Jeff, agree that the Jimmy shit is horribly set up to the point where they barely make it clear Jack O'Connell was the young Jimmy from the beginning. Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
You'd have no idea about any of this,
Yeah.
It's just, I'm amazed at what I saw last night.
Jay Scoots asks, what will the channel be doing to observe Con Air on July 14th? Oh, is there an anniversary coming? I know it's happy 50th for Jaws today, so shout out to Jaws, still an amazing film. But if there's a celebration for Con Air, I promise you we'll do something on the channel. I fucking love Con Air. So.
Nope, you got to wait 2 more years for that one. Sorry, guys.
It's not 50.
Not an anniversary. It's just
July 14th. All right. Well, that's all the questions, Jeff.
That's it.
Anything you want to talk about before we wrap up? Anything you want to go into? I mean, we normally have 20 more minutes, but if you want to end the show, we can end the show now. What are your thoughts? Anything we missed? I could look through the list here real quick. Do you think Keanu Reeves is coming back to be part of the Drew Goddard's Matrix? That was a rumor reported this week.
I hope not.
Okay.
I hope not. Again, guys, I appreciate the hustle that you clearly see from people like Daniel Rickman, Nexus Point, that kind of stuff. But let me ask you a serious question. Do you think
asking me or the audience?
Just in general, you, the audience, do you guys really think that anyone picks up the phone and calls these people with stuff? Or do you think it's just they get their hands on grids and they're just pulling stuff from grids?
I don't know. I like to think that they have sources just like you do, and they may cultivate those sources in different ways. You live in the town. What the fuck
looks
is that?
like the road is clearing up ahead.
You looking at porn, John?
Yeah.
No, I was looking at. I don't know. I hit websites because I'm looking up stuff when we're talking. Oh shit! Are we gonna get in trouble for that? What the fuck is that? Sorry guys, I don't know what the fuck that is. Oh okay. Jesus, it was Variety out of nowhere with a fucking ad. Anyway, I like to think
the Penske trades are out of control with the fucking ads and the
where
just support independent journalism and leave your take your ad blockers off. This whole industry is just terrible. I personally think that those other scoopers are kind of just doing grid journalism. I don't really think that if Daniel, if Daniel's trying to confirm something and Daniel calls an agent or a manager and says, "Hey, it's Daniel RPK calling. I want to talk to so and so's agent." I don't think that call gets taken. So
okay,
I mean, I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm this is what I think is going on.
I think you've opened up an idea in my head. I'm going to reach out to Daniel and maybe My Time to Shine Hello and see if they'd be willing to have an interview and conversation about how they go about, because it's a fair question to ask.
I'd be interested too in how they operate, but I mean, I also want to talk to a human being with an identity, not a handle. Listen, I have a lot of questions about those folks, but if you're trusting me on the same level as you're trusting them, this is how we got Trump as president. I don't know what to tell you.
That's a legitimately fair point. Let's see what else. The other thing I wanted to talk about. Oh, Natasha Lyonne as Joan Rivers. Did we talk about that last week? Do you like that casting? Do you think it works?
Love it. I mean, again, that is something I saw in a grid.
Yes,
I'll be transparent. I did get my hands on some kind of grid in the last few weeks. But I confirmed it beforehand, and I just don't. And that's the difference, is that if they had the exact same grid, I just don't think they'd be able to confirm it like I did.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's about relationships and people knowing you, because they're not going to take the call or answer or respond to the emails if it's I'm my time to shine hello on Twitter.
Right.
I've put in the work. I've met these people and done the lunches over the last 20 years. So that to me is the difference.
Even though people do accuse you of coming up with stuff out of thin air, which I think is hilarious. You guys have no idea how much,
Nothing when you say thin air.
Yeah.
What why would I just, so you're saying I just sit here and make things up and brainstorm things that are this would be a good story?
Right. That's what they claim, that sometimes you come up with stuff out of thin air to get
it's all coming from somebody, and I know who the somebodies are. So things can change, and James Gunn can say one thing and then it turns out to be another. It's amazing the scrutiny that my reporting is under and that the trades are not. Like I said, didn't hear a peep about that fucking final shortlist for Clayface.
Right.
Something must have changed.
Well, the trades are seen as the establishment, and so people know. Well, that to me, I know that's establishment, and so sometimes people don't question that because they think, well, no, these are the real reporters. Because they've been tapped subjectively to work for this particular website, the THR Variety Deadline.
They get desperate too. That's why Variety can't break a story. I mean. It's about your personnel and their relationships, and those people are under pressure too to deliver and to come up with a name on something. All the time. So, you can see it on Deadline with their stories labeled The Dish. The Dish literally may as well be a label that means shit. Jeff Sneider's snooping around, okay? Because I'm forcing the trades into unnecessary mistakes.
Yeah.
Because they're rushing to beat me.
Yeah. Fair point.
They make the same mistakes as the rest of us. They make it less because they have more access.
Yeah.
Right.
Studios.
I deal with studios these days, and I deal with managers. I have not dealt with agencies in months, and my life is better for it.
You mean like CAA?
I haven't called CA, WME, UTA. I haven't emailed anyone from those agencies in months. Right. Because it's easier not to.
Yeah.
Because they've proven time and time again that they can't be trusted. And so they don't get a chance to weigh in and to comment on stories. But the trades will always have, those lines of communication open. And that's why the trades break more news and it's a volume business for them. But if I have the chance to surprise them and sneak attack, I'm going to, because, they've made this landscape what it is, which is an unfair landscape.
Yep. Miguel Zane says, any writing tips today? Jeff, I DM'd you my log line that you said you would give notes to. Would appreciate thoughts. Thanks. Happy Friday. Pacers in 7. Yeah, Jeff, what do you think? Pacers or Thunder this weekend? Who you got? In Oklahoma.
It changes game to game. There are games where I'm like, this Tyrese Halliburton guy's a bum.
Yes.
And then there's games where it's like, he doesn't need to be an all-star. He just needs to have 14 to 18 points and spread the ball and let everybody contribute. That is a winning formula. That is what, the Pacers have proven. I think it's going to be a fascinating Game 7. I won't be able to watch it, or most of it, because I'm going to be seeing Todd Rundgren.
Oh.
I told my dad I would go to the Todd Rundgren concert. Believe me, I would love to take that back if I knew there was going to be a Game 7 final that night. But yeah, I got to stick with my original prediction. I'm gonna ride the hot hand and go with, because I'm not that high on Shea Gilgeous Alexander.
SGA.
I don't think he's like the undeniable kind of guy. Like, I think you saw it last night. I think he can disappear at times.
Yeah.
Miguel, you'll have to resurface that email. I get so many emails featuring so much stuff. I'm happy to weigh in on your log line, but you need to send it again.
I think both of them disappear. That Tyrese and SGA, which is why this is a compelling finals. Neither one of them has consistently been great through these 6 games. And so I think that's that makes this such a toss-up. I hope it's not a wet fart of a Game 7 where the Thunder win by 40 or something. I hope it's competitive all the way to the end.
I just want a good game.
Awesome. Yeah, exactly. Kodamon 123434 says, hear anything about Kendrick's movie? Kendrick Lamar?
No, Paramount has really put the clamp down on that one.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, and there was also rumors about Johnny Depp maybe coming back for the Pirates of the Caribbean. Bruckheimer said in an interview that some of the older characters are coming back. Do you think he was using that as cover? Because like maybe, like the 2 bumbling guys that were the assistants to Sparrow might coming back, or do you think he's really kind of opening the door to Johnny Depp, because he has stood by Johnny Depp through all of this stuff? So what are your thoughts here, Joe? I
don't know what Jerry Bruckheimer is babbling on about. Let's see if he can even make it to the starting point of that movie. He's pretty up there. I think Disney absolutely needs to move on from Johnny Depp. There is no world in which Executive Jeff would put Johnny Depp within 100 feet of this movie. But who knows, because crazier shit has happened, and it's all about how desperate the studio is. The studio thinks Johnny Depp's going to bring butts in seats. They'll put him in the movie. It's also about, the alternative. Well, who is it going to be if it's not Johnny? Are we putting Timothée Chalamet in this fucking thing? I just could not care less, because this franchise, even I went to see the Transformers sequels. I didn't bother with the Pirates sequels. This franchise is literally the lowest of the low.
I disagree with you there. I'm 50th edition of TIFF this year. Jeff, are you attending Toronto International Film?
I applied. We'll see if they let me in. Maybe Danny Boyle and James Gunn will call and say, absolutely not. We're not going to bring our new movies to Toronto if you let this guy in.
But maybe Matt Reeves will call and be like, he can be my +1. Let him in. He could be my +1.
I would love to attend Toronto. It all just depends.
Depends on things. Exactly. I think that's everything I was going to ask you about. The Ron Howard, Glen Powell movie. Do you want to talk about that? Is there anything big to report on that? Anything you want to say?
No, it's not. Okay. It's not Backdraft. I like that the trades, added something to my story and mentioned the log line and everything. Kim Masters had said it in Monday Night's Puck that Ron Howard is working on something else alone at dawn. I may have a follow-up report about that one soon, but okay. Yeah, just happy for my boy Glen.
Yeah. Last thing, Blumhouse Saw. I know it's a touchy subject for you. I don't want you to go off, but I just wanted to ask you about it. It's been official now that Blumhouse has finalized the deal, which will see them acquire part of the soft horror franchise from Twisted Pictures. Lionsgate will also own an ownership stake and keep distributing the films as they've done since 2004. Content Partners has also bought an unspecified stake in Twisted's existing library, along with producer Mark Burr's retained share. And this brings back James Wan to be a part of this and his Atomic Monster label, which merged with Blumhouse in 2024. Wan and Lee Winnell co-wrote and Wan directed the first film. So, Jeff, just a real quick final thoughts on that.
I mean,
know you reported
a great business deal by Blum. Like, identify an asset that is in distress and undervalued. They're going to print money with that. Like, the article said, I think that franchise has made $1.2 billion over 10 movies on a collective production budget of less than $100 million. And that, frankly, is where I think studios should be spending their resources. They should, try to do something. Like, I'd rather finance $10-20 million movies or $10 million movies that can make $1.2 billion collectively rather than one movie at $100 million that is probably not going to make $1.2 billion.
Right.
So a smart move by Jason, a smart move by the producers. Obviously if they weren't getting along, and it was efforts to make the next movie were hamstrung, and probably good for the fans just to know that we're going to get another installment. It'll probably be a creative reboot. Blumhouse has a certain safe, there's a certain safety to its movies that I think the Saw franchise never had, and I hope that it retains that gritty indie spirit.
Oh, there you go. All right, let's get out of here. I think that's it, man. Anything else you want to cover or discuss, or are you good?
I'm good.
Are you sure? I mean, if you want to say something more, we can. I think that's everything.
You know what I'll say?
Go ahead.
I've been reading this book this week, and it's it's so fucking good. Okay. And it's been so fascinating, having seen the movie 1,000 times, to see what made this cut and what moved over to the next movie. And that is The Red Dragon.
Ooh, yeah. That's a good book. A good book,
so
Jeff.
Good. Yeah. I've been spending all week with fucking Will Graham and the Tooth Fairy, and I'm loving it. I just can't say enough about Mindhunter. And it is cool to see, like, this passage, they moved over to Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick as we wrap up. The Mindhunter, Holt McElhaney promoting the waterfront, which does not look good. He said that it looks like they are possibly going to bring back Mindhunter, that they have ideas for it to be 3 2-hour movies. Would that excite you to see it come back at that level in some shape or form?
I think it should come back. I think it's a no-brainer. I don't know why someone else hasn't ripped it off, quite frankly, because there's nothing proprietary about it. I just read, the book I finished before this one was Robert Ressler's Whoever Fights Monsters, which Ridley Scott is producing. I broke that story a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it's
crazy because Ressler's book ends with him talking about, I'm meeting this young author, Thomas Harris, to talk about serial killers. That's literally how the book ends. So I went from that into Red Dragon. There's no reason why someone couldn't make the next Mindhunter and base it on Whoever Fights Monsters instead of John Douglas's book Mindhunter. The 3 2-hour movies does make more sense to me than maybe a full season. I think it's a way to tell, like, okay, we did 2 seasons and we kept teasing BTK. Okay, give us a 2-hour BTK movie. Take these guys and do 2-hour movies based on about their stories rather than just an episode or whatever. I think I would love nothing more than to see Mindhunter come back in some capacity, any capacity. But I don't want them to sacrifice anything because the quality was so top notch.
Yeah. I like the idea. Holt said he was meeting with Fincher a few months ago in his office and said to him that there is a chance that it may come back as 3 2-hour movies, but he has to be happy with the scripts. So I like the idea of, like, at least bringing it back. We saw that with Deadwood. We've seen that with other franchises that come back for a 2-hour movie. To have 3 2-hour movies, though, is something unusual. So I'd be happy to see that myself personally as well. I mean, I'm kind of due for a rewatch of that series anyway, so I kind of might put that in motion for myself again on that. And Lindley's never seen it, so I would love to watch it with her. A Sewell, one last thing, says, hey guys, would love to see guests on the hot mic. I remember really enjoying the episode where you guys had Drew Taylor come on and talk about Cody versus Acme. Yeah, we should get Drew back on the show every once in a while. I liked him being on the show as well, and we should definitely look at guests.
We need a good animation controversy.
Yes.
Maybe if I see Elio, we'll talk about it and what went wrong.
Well, yeah, that's a good idea. But yeah, we'll look at it. And you know, Jeff and I did a second show earlier this week on Monday, and we will be putting that in motion in July. That was more like a soft opening for that possibility. So we will see that once Jeff gets back in LA, and we'll be back to doing 2 shows a week. So that'll be coming up, but that will be pre-taped. That show, it'll be pre-taped, will not be live. So just a different approach. We'll just tackle a couple of topics in that. So, all right, Jeff, let's get out of here. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching or listening to us. You can always download the podcast as well. We would appreciate that as well. And Jeff, please let people know where they can subscribe to your newsletter and read all the stuff you're breaking.
theinsnider.com.
There you go. As for, please remember to subscribe down below, hit that bell button, leave all your comments. Thanks for all the Streamlabs and Super Chats. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the weekend. Go see movies. Go enjoy yourselves. Watch some great TV shows. And then come on back and join us next week for another brand new live episode of The Hot Mic. Peace. Until then.